Yo, what up, guys? Today I was going to be talking about why I hate Donald Trump. See, a lot of people talk about Donald Trump being this big bad guy. A lot of Marvel fans are nerds and compare him to like Thanos and stuff like that, but that's just not accurate to Donald Trump. See, Donald Trump is more like Darth Vader. Darth Vader was a character created by George Lucas in Episode 4, A New Hope of Star Wars. Originally titled Star Wars in its 1977 release. Now, Darth Vader is shown throughout the movie Star Wars Episode 4 multiple times. He's kind of shown to be this main villain who's nothing but pure evil and who wants nothing but to hurt others and bring pain to others. Throughout the movie, there's a lot of character building to show how bad this guy truly is, showing that he kills his admirals just for speaking up about something or not believing in the Force. So now, Vader, throughout Episode 4, all this character building to show how bad of a person he is. And at the end of Episode 4, he kills Ben Kenobi, his former master, back when he was a Jedi, still training to be a master, Jedi master, when he was training, and then he split off, as we all know. We'll get to that in a little bit. But he kills Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Luke Skywalker has to see this right in front of his eyes. A whole bunch of stuff happens. Vader also goes against Skywalker and many others during the Battle of Yavin, when they're all attacking the Death Star. Vader tries to kill Luke Skywalker while he's making an attack on the Death Star, but he fails, and Luke Skywalker does succeed in destroying the Death Star. And then after that, Vader escapes and just kind of goes and does his own thing while the rebellion celebrates their victory. I just realized I put laundry in right before I started recording, so you guys could probably fucking hear that. God, I'm so stupid. Anyway, again, Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. We get even more character development in this one. More Vader choking admirals, doing his thing, being a big bad guy, as usual. He has a scene where he talks to the Emperor Palpatine. Now, sorry to go on a little rant here, but people who are looking at that scene and thinking, oh, well, Vader just wants to kill Luke. No, see, he knows it's a mind game between him and Palpatine. He knows that Luke is his son. He already knows this, and so does Palpatine, and they're both just kind of playing mental chess with each other, but they're both not stupid, and they both know they're playing mental chess with each other. So, when Vader says he's just a boy, he doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to whoop his ass, no problem, don't worry about it, Palp, old Papa Palps. He's saying, hey, let's not kill my only fucking family member alive, please. You could tell this because instead of calling him an asset like Palpatine does, he calls him an ally. But I digress. So throughout this movie, you see the old rebels trying to take down the Empire. Basic ass story, we all know it. Blah, blah, whatever. There's the Bespin scenes, there's the bounty hunters and all this. But we get to the big scene of Empire Strikes Back, which is Luke versus Vader. Vader absolutely demolishes Luke in every sense of the word. Luke never looks like he's going to beat Vader. There's never, except for the one point where Vader falls, or whatever the fuck happens, force push, I don't know, I think he falls. But he falls down. That's the only point when you think Luke could possibly win, but besides that, Vader just manhandles Luke the whole time. Luke is running away the whole time, and this just shows how strong Vader truly is. Also, how weak Luke still is now that he still hasn't finished his training yet with Yoda. And of course, we get the classic reveal of, no, I am your father, from Vader, telling Luke that, I'm your dad, haha, why don't you join up with me, you know what I mean? We could take over the galaxy together, father and son. Which, in my opinion, is cool that he's wanting to bond with his son. That's a great father, if you ask me. And not only is Luke not having any of that idea, he decides that instead of doing that, he would rather try and kill himself. So, luckily for Luke and George Lucas's pockets, he didn't die. In fact, he went through some trash compactor, gets thrown through it, and then gets real lucky that he just so happens to get saved. Throughout Episode 6, it's more of the same. But this time you can start to see that Darth Vader's more conflicted on his thoughts. And this is mainly seen in the scenes that he has with Luke. he sees that Luke is finally done with his training and he's more powerful now because of that. He also realizes that Palpatine was correct, that Luke will be powerful. Vader's still trying to give his best hurrah and put his effort in at turning Luke over, trying to betray the Emperor, have son and father rule the galaxy together. Luke's still not having it. He's saying, look, bud, I'm not joining the dark side. Either this is going to end in me killing you or you killing me, so let's just get this over with. So then we get to the fight scene. I mean, stuff happens in between all this, but I'm just doing the highlights here. We get to the fight scene between Vader and Luke, and you really do see that Luke has, in fact, gotten a lot better. He's much stronger than the last time that him and Vader went off. Instead of Vader dominating Luke the whole time, Luke is having Vader the one running away, the one who never really looks like he's going to win, and the one who's fighting defensively. Now, this whole fight goes down. Luke eventually cuts off Vader's hand, and Palpatine is loving it because he's like, oh crap, this boy got anger issues, you know, he could get angry. I'm going to try and convert him over to the dark side. But Luke is strong with the light side of the Force, so he kind of sees what Palpatine's doing. Vader sees what Palpatine's doing. And then Palpatine starts to, shock Luke. And not in like the, oh my god, more of like the actual literal electrocute Luke Skywalker. And Vader's not having any of this because he's still good in the heart, you know. And Vader helps Luke by killing Palpatine. And I'm not counting the sequels because in my head that was the end of Palpatine. I'm not doing that episode 9 bullshit. That was stupid and that was just for money because Disney loves their money. But anywho, he kills Palpatine, and then he kind of does that thing when old people run more than 5 seconds where they just kind of fall over. And then Luke's like, hey, you're my dad, Boogie Woogie. How about I help you and you help me, but this time you're a good guy? And Vader's more like, for God's sake, I just want to die. And he tells Luke, all that stuff oh, let me see you with my own eyes, blah, 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 whatever. So then Luke is talking to Anakin. And yes, I'm calling him Anakin because that's a great transition into Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Episode 1 through 3 are obviously the prequels. And the prequel trilogy used to get a lot of hate, but the sequels were so bad, luckily, that people are finally starting to see what I saw as a kid. So maybe it's a little bit of a nostalgia factor why I like the prequels so much, but I do think they're good movies, and it shows more of Anakin Skywalker and how he became Darth Vader. In Episode 1, you meet great characters, such as a young Obi-Wan Kenobi, aka Ben Kenobi from Episode 4. You the one that Vader killed? Yeah, that's him. Isn't that crazy? And other great characters like Qui-Gon Jinn, Padme Amidala, Jar Jar Binks, and last but not least, Anakin Skywalker. When we meet Anakin, he's a really annoying kid from Tatooine. But Qui-Gon sees potential in him because he has a, high midichlorian account, whatever. You guys have watched the movies. You know what all goes on. They abduct Anakin Skywalker from his home because that's what Jedi do. I mean, anyone who still thinks that the Jedi are just good guys, you guys kind of need to rethink that because Jedi are kind of terrible people. But they see Anakin's potential, so they abduct him, whatever, willingly, whatever. But Anakin starts to flirt with this woman who's about 11 years older than him. And for some reason, it fucking works. But we'll get to that soon. Nothing much really happens with Anakin in Episode 1 besides you kind of meeting him, kind of hearing about how powerful he is. And then he has that one scene at the end while Maul is fucking shit up. You see him shoot down spaceships or whatever, and droids and all that. Episode 2 is where you finally meet the real Anakin. And I have to go on a very short little rant. George Lucas is just bad at writing dialogue. Hayden Christensen's a great actor. I like Hayden Christensen. George Lucas just isn't the master of dialogue. I'm sorry, it's just how it goes. So anyway, in Episode 2, you see Anakin meet back up with Padme again. And just, if you don't know this, Jedi aren't supposed to really show any emotion, so love is pretty much forbidden in the Jedi Order. So they all kind of see that Anakin has feelings for Padme, you know, we can all I mean, it's pretty fucking obvious. The dude hits on her whenever he can. So since they don't want Anakin to fall in love with Padme, what they do is send them alone together on a very isolate planet. And this might be a shocker, but surprise, surprise, they fall in love with each other. And I know this is a wild, crazy thing to happen after that, but it's what happens. Also, Anakin goes back to Tatooine, finds out his mom's dead, slaughters a bunch of fucking sand people, because it's kind of to show, like, oh, Anakin's fucking heartless. Like, he does not give a shit. He is kind of a bad person. He tells Padme about all this because he's, you know, conflicted, because he is angry that his mother's dead, but he knows he's not supposed to slaughter everyone. And Padme's reaction is, oh, well, shit happens. We also find out Anakin doesn't like sand in this movie, which is great. Anakin also murders Dooku in this movie because a lovely new Chancellor, Sheev Palpatine, tells him that he should do it. And he does do it. And then him and Padme get married at the end. Which leads us into Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So in Episode 2, we start to see Anakin get closer and closer to Palpatine. And in Episode 3, he becomes really close to Palpatine. And the Jedi Council gets worried about that. There's a whole scene where he's like, oh, you won't be master, but you can sit on the council. And he's all pissed about it, rightfully, because that's stupid. And the Jedi Council's really bad at managing their future Jedis. But they put him on the council pretty much because they want him to check on Palpatine at all times, because they're kind of worried about him. Because Palpatine's kind of doing some weird stuff right now. At some point, Palpatine tells Anakin that the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise, because he senses that Anakin is troubled about something. And what he's troubled about is the visions of Padme dying during childbirth, because, you know, Padme's all pregnant and shit right now. The reason this is significant is because Darth Plagueis the Wise could save others from death, but he could not save himself. You guy has another fucking line. But that's the whole reason he's telling him this. I don't think he knows that that's the visions that Anakin's having, but I can't be positive on that. So Anakin, being troubled about Padme dying, is like, yo, what the fuck? This might help me out right quick, you know what I mean? Like, this could help me save Padme, because I don't want Padme to die, because, you know, they're all in love with each other and shit. So Anakin gets closer to Palpatine. So, getting pretty close to the end of Episode 3, they finally, the council finally gets told by Anakin, yo, this Palpatine guy, not a good fucking dude. He's kind of a Sith, you know, that whole thing that we were looking for this whole time. Yeah, he's the guy. And the council's reaction is they're going to arrest him in a polite and respectful manner, because that's how you deal with Sith, is going to court. And this may be a shocker, but it doesn't actually work. In fact, Palpatine just kills all of them. But he has a good fight with old Mace Windu while this is all happening. All the other Jedi that tried to help are dead. So him and Mace Windu are fighting it out, duking it out. Mace Windu's about to kill Palpatine, because Palpatine's finally revealed himself that he has, you know, dark side powers, force lightning, blah, 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 whatever. And he's, you know, lighting up Windu, but Windu blocks it back at him, turns Palpatine into the disgusting monster that we all know and love. But then Palpatine pretends he's all weak and he can't do it on his own, when he could just stop shooting lightning, but he wants Anakin to turn to the dark side. So he tells Anakin to save him. He also tells Anakin a little white lie, which is that he can save Padme from dying, because, you know, Anakin's having all these visions. So Windu's about to kill Palpatine because he finally realized, like, okay, the Jedi are wrong about this. We need to kill him. This is not going to work out. And Anakin's like, oh, you gotta let the Jedi decide his fate, blah, blah, whatever. And then, Palpatine's like, "Oh, I could save Padme." And not direct words. He's like, "Oh, I could save the ones you love," but whatever. You get the point. We know who he's talking about. So Anakin's conflicted right now because he knows the right thing to do is let Mace Windu kill Palpatine, but he knows what he wants is for Padme to stay alive as long as possible. So Mace is about to kill Palpatine. Anakin cuts off his arm to save Palpatine, and then Palpatine, shocker, wasn't as weak as he was claiming to be, and in fact has, quote, unlimited power, and shocks Mace Windu so bad he falls out the window. I'm sorry, that was a really bad joke. And then Palpatine and Anakin are just, buddies now. They're like, well, Anakin's pretty much thinking like, okay, well, I just fucked up real big, so pretty much might as well just be a Sith now. And Palpatine's like, sweet, my plan worked. Palpatine executes Order 66, which is his order for all the clones to attack the Jedi. A lot of Jedi die, and you see Anakin turn into Vader. In my opinion, this is when he turns into Vader, not when he kills Windu. When he kills all the younglings at the Jedi Temple in order to make sure that the Jedi aren't still powerful. And a little bit of stuff goes on after that, but it all leads down into Mustafar. Anakin's hanging out there, and then Padme goes there with Obi-Wan to try and kind of like, hey, Anakin, what are you doing? That kind of thing going on. And Anakin doesn't appreciate Padme doing that, and he chokes her. And Obi-Wan's like, dude, what's your problem? What happened to you? Anakin and Obi-Wan then get in a fight, and Anakin is very strong, but Obi-Wan has great defense, so it's pretty much Anakin being very aggressive, Obi-Wan holding him off with a great defense, until Obi-Wan gets the high ground. We all know the legendary scene that ensues, the "It's over, Anakin, I have the high ground. You underestimate my power," blah, blah, blah. You know the scene. Anakin tries to jump up there and kill Obi-Wan, but it doesn't really work out for him, and Obi-Wan slices his legs off and leaves Anakin there to burn alive. So after burning for a little bit to a nice char, Palpatine comes over there and he's like, hey, let's fix you on up, old buddy. And then we see that Padme gives birth, and while giving birth, she dies. So the visions came true. Hint, hint. That's Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa right there. And then it also shows Vader being built out of Anakin's charred corpse. And then you get the legendary scene of Palpatine telling Vader that he killed Padme. And his reaction was... And then the movie ends off. It's actually kind of a really sad ending to a trilogy. It's usually like trilogies end in like, hey everybody, good guys are on top, bad guys lost, everything's awesome. But this one's like, all the good guys are dead, the bad guys are taking power. This is a transition to episode 4. So that's why I think that Darth Vader is a better comparison to Trump than Thanos.